Imagine you're lying on a hospital bed. You're there to get better. A brand new, state-of-the-art radiation system, the Therac 25, looms over you. A machine that looks like the future of medicine, the pinnacle of 1985 technology. The technician types a few commands. A tiny mistake happens. They hit the wrong key. They fix it in less than a second. Then they hit enter. The machine says, "Treatment delivered." But you feel something else. Not pain, not heat, something wrong. A silent electric shock. Then you hear a scream, and it's yours. You didn't just get a dose of radiation. You were just hit with a lightning bolt of raw electrons 100 times stronger than the intended dose. Why? Because of a race condition bug, the most terrifying software bug in history. Today, we're declassifying the Therac 25 accidents, a story of corporate negligence, a ghost programmer, and a warning for our AI-driven future. In the early 80s, Atomic Energy of Canada Limited released the Therac 25, and it was revolutionary because it was a dual-mode linear accelerator. It could do two things. 1. Electron mode, low power for surface tumors. 2. X-ray mode, high energy, so powerful that it requires a heavy metal target to soften the beam before it hits the human body. Now here's the catch. Previous versions, the Therac 6 and 20, had physical hardware interlocks. If the metal shield wasn't in place, the machine literally couldn't fire the high-power beam. But for the Therac 25, they got confident. They removed the physical safety switches and replaced them with software. They trusted the code to be the gatekeeper. And that was the first step toward a catastrophe. So, what actually went wrong? It was something programmers fear, and most people have never heard of: a race condition. Here's the simplest way to picture it. Think of a race condition like two people trying to go through a revolving door at the exact same time from opposite sides. The system gets confused about which event happened first. Technicians became so fast at using the machine that they could correct a typo in under 8 seconds. They'd hit X, X-ray, realize the mistake, hit up, and change it to E, electron mode, and continue. And here's where it turns deadly. Because the software was written in PDP-11 assembly language, low-level, messy, and extremely easy to get wrong. Worse? It had no locking mechanisms. So while the screen told the operator low-power electron mode, the machine internally was still prepping a high-power X-ray shot. Then the operator hits proceed. The software doesn't detect the conflict. It fired a 25,000 rads death beam through a patient's body. A dose so absurdly high it doesn't just injure tissue, it cooks it, instantly. All because the software ran faster than its own safety checks. Now this is the part that will make your blood boil. Because when patients started complaining of burning sensations, when they screamed, when their skin blistered, the manufacturer, AECL, said it was physically impossible for the machine to overdose. And they insisted, not because they tested it, but because they believed the code was flawless. The machine would simply flash errors like Malfunction 54 or Treatment Pause. But the manual didn't even explain what those meant, so operators thought it was just a minor glitch. They'd hit the P key to resume and unknowingly delivering a second, third, sometimes fourth lethal blast to patients who were already dying. It took Fritz Hager, a physicist at a hospital in Tyler, Texas, meticulously recreating those lightning-fast keystrokes to finally prove the bug existed. And by then, people were already dead. Years of deaths and permanent injuries for the truth to finally come out. And here's the detail that makes this story feel like a nightmare. You see, the software for the Therac 25 wasn't built by a team of elite engineers. It was developed by one single person over several years. They used PDP-11 assembly language, a low-level, complex code where one tiny slip-up can crash an entire system. Even worse, it wasn't new code. It was an evolution of the software used in the older Therac 6. They just copied and pasted the old logic into a machine that was twice as powerful and had none of the old physical safety switches. In 1986, as the accidents began to surface, that lone programmer left the company. Later, during the massive lawsuits, lawyers tried to track him down. They couldn't. They couldn't even identify who he was, let alone verify his qualifications or experience. The man who wrote the code that killed was a ghost. And this wasn't some rare machine in one hospital. 6 machines were installed in Canada, and 5 were installed in the United States. 11 machines, 11 opportunities for the same invisible bug to strike again. By 1988, the scandal was so toxic that AECL effectively surrendered. They dissolved the entire AECL Medical section. A new company, Theratronics International Limited, was formed just to take over the maintenance of the existing machines. They had to clean up the mess left behind by a programmer no one could find and a company that refused to listen. So yes, the machines survived, but the people didn't. You might think, that was the 80s. We're smarter now. Look around, we aren't. We are currently surrounding ourselves with black box systems. Self-driving cars that struggle to distinguish a white truck from a bright sky. AI algorithms deciding who gets a kidney transplant or a bank loan, or a job. We've traded hardware interlocks for algorithmic trust. We've replaced the ghost programmer of the 80s with the ghost algorithms of the 2020s. We are still hitting proceed on error messages we don't understand, trusting that the software knows better than our own eyes. The Therac 25 taught us something brutal. When we replace physical safety with algorithmic trust, we don't remove danger, we just make danger invisible. When we remove the human from the loop, we aren't just trusting the tech, we're trusting the person who wrote it. And sometimes we don't even know who that is. And lastly, when we stop questioning the machine stops serving us. Next time your computer glitches and you just hit refresh without thinking, remember Malfunction 54. If you want to see more lethal logic cases, hit that subscribe button. Stay safe and stay skeptical.